Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here. Just wanted to come at you with a little bit of a roundup of the round of 16 of the OSL that we've been going through, because it has been like a month and a half since we started, and it's been almost 40 games, and there's been, other replays and other stuff that we've done in between. So let's go back real quick and just kind of recap what happened and who is advancing, and we'll talk about some hype for what's going on next as well. So again, we had Group A, which ended up being a more competitive group than I expected. I also underestimated Max. Since I've casted that group, I've gone back and seen that he actually was doing really, really well in 2004. So a little bit of a disappointment for him at the time, actually. But kind of the results you'd expect. Zelos, an absolute god, and July Zerg, his nickname is God of War, so there you go. Now, it ended up being the results you expected, but not quite exactly how you would expect it, because July Zerg, remember, you can see the results right here. Lost to Rock, actually, in that one game, and that's kind of cool. If I hover over July, it highlights him in these other games, but yeah, lost to Rock, and then lost to Max as well. Wait, let's see. Lost to Rock, lost to Zelos, right? And was in really deep trouble right there, and ended up beating Max in his third game. And then in the final game, could have been final game of the series, you ended up having Zelos versus Rock, and this was a situation where Zelos was at 2-0 and Rock was at 1-1. So basically, if Rock had won, Rock and Zelos advance. Zelos advances either way, right? But he beats Rock, throws it to the tiebreaker, and Jelizerg wins those last two games in the tiebreakers. So Jelizerg barely got out with like a 1-2 record in a group, got out through the tiebreakers, barely made it out of that group, despite the fact that he is the reigning champion. He was the seed for this group, because he won the previous OSL. So it's kind of interesting that he's kind of scraped by there. But we still did end up with the two stereotypically strongest players advancing, Zelos and July. Then we had Group B. Again, kind of the results that you could expect from the beginning. Good Friend was a potential upsetter in this group. Midas, not as much, but anything can happen. And ended up kind of again being pretty much what you'd expect. We did end up having Good Friend take a game off Yellow, and that was interesting. And of course, Reach did lose to Yellow in that match as well. So, yeah, again, Reach, one of the original Protoss kings, super strong player. And despite the fact that Protoss are not super favored in this, there's only 3 Protoss players in the whole round of 16. Reach did make it out. So Reach and Yellow making it out. Again, Yellow, this is 2004, a super strong player. Maybe not the favorite, but definitely, someone to look out for in this situation. So, all these players showing really strong showings, except I would say July Zerg, looking a little bit, it's not July anymore when this Star League is going on. It's not his time. So, not looking at his best, but, he does have, insanely good gameplay. So, we'll see what he does in the round of 8. Anyway, so going on to the other two groups, we also had Group C, which was again, a little bit of an interesting situation. I think I would have predicted Uv and Go Rush to advance from this group, and it was actually instead Uv and Sync. And this was the one where we had a ridiculous amount of tiebreakers. We had 2 sets of tiebreakers that went all the way down, right? So we ended up, I don't remember exactly how that all worked out, but, Uv did pretty well, right? And then actually lost a game to Sync. Right, he never. I don't think he lost a game versus Zerg, did he? Let's see. Uv beat Gorush. Uv beat Jeju. Uv beat Gorush. Yeah, so he didn't actually lose TVZ. So he's coming off of this win streak of 25 wins, where only July Zerg has been able to beat him in TVZ. So he didn't lose TVZ at all, but he did lose that game to Sync, and we ended up with this crazy 3-way tiebreaker, which we've Uv, Sync, Gorush, and they had to play through it twice because Sync beat Uv again. And it ended up just being that Sync and Uv both beat Go Rush. That's how Uv was able to actually advance, because Sync and Uv actually both beat Go Rush, not because Uv finally beat Sync, right? So Sync seems to have Uv's number. If they meet later in the bracket, that will be very interesting to see if we have them playing against each other later on. Okay, but again, you know, Uv is kind of the hot shot right now in 2004, so he was definitely expected to get out. Sync is you know, obviously really good too. He's not, I don't think, quite as hot as Go Rush at this point in time. Jeju, I expected more from him. He didn't do very well at all. I mean, some of the games were pretty close. It's not like he played badly. He didn't like screw up or anything like that. But anyway, so we got Uv and Sync moving out of their group, and then in Group D, Boxer and Nada advancing in an interesting situation where I don't know, that was the most recent one we casted, but that was the one where you know, ended up being that Boxer advances out of as first place because he actually beat Nada in their game during the 6 games, and so that was considered a tiebreaker. So they're both tied at 2-1, but Boxer advances as the first seed, and Nada advances as the second seed. And again, nothing too. This is maybe the easiest to predict because Oversky and Kingdom are just not as strong as some of the other players that were the you know, the third and fourth place in some of the other groups. Kingdom, I think I would have maybe expected to perhaps advance from this group if anyone did, other than Boxer or Nada, but Boxer and Nada were definitely the favorites. So yeah, kind of most of the strongest players advancing. Again, Sync maybe not quite who you'd expect. You know, you may not have expected Yellow, I guess, or Reach. Maybe one of these two could have gotten upset by Good Friend, but mostly who we thought would advance. So anyway, let's take a look at the bracket for the round of 8. Okay, so here's the quarterfinal bracket. I just threw this together on Challenge, which is a cool site for doing tournament brackets and stuff. But and by the way, thank you to Liquipedia for I was basically just looking at the Liquipedia page for the Ever OSL and trying not to scroll down too far past the round of 16. That's how I was getting the stuff we were just looking at, the other results. But anyway, so this is what the bracket is going to look like. So we got an exciting stuff going on here. I'm going to talk a little bit more once I cast these matches about the exact matchups as far as their history and their percentages and stuff as far as, you know, PVT, TVT, whatever. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I just wanted to get you guys hyped a little bit about this because we got some epic matches. I mean, just think about, like, you know, all the round of 16 groups, there was like a couple really strong players, a couple potentially strong players, so many strong players in the quarterfinals. Look at this ridiculous set. I mean, basically everyone in here is a champion except for Sync already. I mean, we talked about how in the round 16 there was like 35, almost 40 titles amongst them, right? Well, most of those are actually in here. Yellow and Boxer have like 20 titles between, maybe 25 titles between the two of them, right? Nada ridiculous as well. Now, Uv doesn't have a title, right? I was thinking of Uv as having a title because I know he wins titles in his career, right? Compared to, I don't think Sync ever did. But yeah, just Reach has titles, Zealous has titles. So, like, such strong matchups. Reach versus Zealous is going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Uv versus Nada. Like, almost, these three could be finals very easily, right? This last one, maybe not quite as much. I don't expect Sync to get to the finals. But any of these three matches could be the finals, right? So we got some crazy stuff. Now, it's interesting to note we have a ZVZ. By the way, ignore these numbers. It's just, that's the way that they set up the bracket here. We got a ZVZ and a TVT and a TVT. So we're going to eliminate some of the mirrors in the beginning of the round of 8. And I don't know if they set this up intentionally or not, because we're guaranteed a TVZ semifinal, and we have a 50-50 chance of a TVP semifinal, or approximately 50-50 chance, right? So that's kind of interesting that they set it up that way. So the semifinals are going to be more likely to not be mirror matchups. They're kind of getting rid of some of the mirror matchups in the early ones. So, but notice this one Protoss. Whoa, it's moving around. Sorry about that. I didn't know grabbing it would move it. I thought I could highlight it. One Protoss one Protoss in the entire quarterfinals. Once again, Reach is the hope of Protoss. He's the only Protoss left in the quarterfinals. So he's going to have to get through Zelos to make it to the semifinals to have a chance here, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Terrans and 2 Zergs as well, right? So Zerg and Terran, only 3 of them compared to 5. Zerg and Protoss, only 3 of them compared to 5 Terrans. So again, very Terran dominated, and it was a Terran dominated round of 16, and now it's an even more Terran dominated round of 8. So, but we're going to be eliminating at least 2 Terrans, 2 or 3 Terrans. So there's a max of 3 Terrans in the semifinals. But we could end up with 3 Terrans, and actually, could we end up with? Oh, we could end up with 1, 2. Yeah, could end up with 3 Terrans and a Zerg in the semifinals. So still could end up that way. But Reach could pull it off. So anyway, so that's gonna be really, really interesting to see how that goes. We're gonna have a fun TVZ here again. Probably Boxer versus one of these guys, which would be very exciting if it's Boxer versus Yellow. Holy crap, those guys have played so much together. They're like the original StarCraft rivalry. A Boxer versus Yellow semifinal would be epic. Epic. Boxer versus Jelizerg would be pretty fun too, actually, since Jelizerg is, the ZV tier that beat Uv. And Uv is Boxer's protege, right? So there's a little bit of history there, a little bit of drama there. So this semifinal could be really, really fantastic. This semifinal is going to be fantastic no matter what. Any of these matchups, Reach versus Uv, Reach versus Nada, Zealous versus either of these two, is going to be amazing. So I am so excited about this StarCraft tournament. It's so stacked. Man, it's crazy. Any case, so that's what we have to look forward to and we can expect. And yeah, so we're going to start in on the round of 8 here pretty soon. And very soon I'm going to be trying to figure out a schedule for the live finals that we're going to be doing as well. Remember, once we get through the quarterfinals and the semifinals, we're going to schedule... Actually, I'll probably, by the end of the quarterfinals, I want to set a date for the live finals. So the finals we'll do live on stream. Everyone can join the stream and chat about the games together. It'll be just like old times. Sort of like old times. And that's going to be so much fun because this is going to be an epic tournament. Anyways, hope you guys are looking forward to as much as I am. Oh, and of course there's a third place match as well in this series. So after the semifinals, we'll do the third place match leading into the finals match. And so that'd be cool. But yeah, just so many amazing players in this tournament. I am stoked. Hope you guys are too. Yeah, like I said, I'll go into more depth on these different matchups as we go in and cast them. But this is going to be a fun tournament. Looking forward to it. And thanks for watching.